All right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be taking a look at a different type of equation, which is something called a literal equation. And a literal equation is an equation with more than one variable. A lot of times these are our formulas, right? If you look over here, you're going to see hopefully a formula in example number 4 that looks pretty familiar. Number 5 should look familiar as well, so should number 6. So a lot of times they are formulas that we use. But our goal is to isolate the requested variable. Isolate means get by itself. By using the same steps as solving. So it's a little bit weird because you're going to have a lot of letters in the problem, a lot of variables, but you're still following the same rules. So for example, this should have said solve. Sorry. So solve for m. So I want to get m by itself. Well, right now, don't worry about the fact that that has a variable with it. What I'm worried about is that there's a multiplying and there's a subtracting. And my order of my steps to solving says I have to get rid of that adding or subtracting first. So it's subtracting 3n, so I'm going to add 3n. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm left with 4m. Now, I can't put those together because they're not like terms. So I can't make it 11n. What I make it, though, is I just show that they're being added. 8 plus 3n. Still don't have m by itself, so now I have to go through and I have to cancel the 4 by dividing. Notice I put a line under this whole side of the problem. So the 4's cancel, right? That's my inverse property. And we just keep it, because I can't actually go through and do the division. I keep it like that. 8 plus 3n over 4. All right, let's try another one. So solve for t. So in this problem, we have r being multiplied by t minus 8. And since this is in parentheses, normally I would say we have to do our distributive. But there's a little easier way. I can actually divide by the r first, because that's one of the variables I need to move. So that's going to leave me with t minus 8 equals 23 over r. Right? I can't divide those because I don't know what r is. Now I'm going to cancel the subtracting 8 by adding. So those cancel. I'm left with t equals 23 over r plus 8. Again, hopefully not too bad there. For number 3, I want to solve it for x. So I actually have to, whenever I have a fraction like this, I'm going to want to cross multiply. So I put 2 over 1, so now I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have 2x equals 1 times 5 plus a is just 5 plus a. To now get x by itself, I have to divide both sides by 2. So x, and just like we did up in number 1, I'm going to keep the 5 plus a all over 2. All right, let's try another one. So here I have c equals 2 pi r. They want me to solve for r. R is being multiplied by the 2 and the pi. So to cancel multiplying, we divide. So I'm going to divide by 2 pi. So those cancel, you're left with r, so c equals 2 pi. And that's your circumference formula, right? So d equals rt, they want all of these for r. So r and t are being multiplied, so we divide by t. So d over t equals r, right? Distance equals rate times time. So if I'm looking for rate, you're really dividing distance and time. If I'm looking for the radius, you're dividing circumference by 2 pi. So these actually, this skill comes in very handy when you're in your science classes and you're trying to solve a formula there. Still have to get r by itself. This time it's being multiplied by pi, so we're going to divide by pi. Right, here's my area of a circle formula. Equals r squared. Now we didn't do a whole lot of this last year, but in order to cancel a squaring, it's a square root. And we looked at square roots earlier in the chapter. So I have to take the square root of both sides. So squaring and square rooting cancel. And then, again, I can't do anything with this because they're all letters right now. So you're left with square root of a over pi. All right, I think that's it for today. Oh, look at that. Almost done with the chapter. So we have a test coming up soon. On Monday is when our test is going to be. But any questions about this? It's a little weird. But if you just think about all the steps that we used for solving the equations that you did so great with, then you should be okay with this. Any questions for your class? Have a good night.